Alright, so now, next objective, we're going to do a little bit more backtracking all the way back. Now, there was a scan that we got earlier. Yeah, these pirates, it's pretty cool to not harass Samus people. Possible. So yeah, we had to do some backtracking to this area earlier. Apparently, getting the thermal goggles has destroyed the delicate habitat of the ice shriek bat, so even though we are headed back that direction now, it's not going to be possible for us to get that scan because they are extinct now, and we do not have any more opportunities to get that scan in the game. So fortunately we already got it earlier, but that is, this is the point. If you've gone to this point, you've gone too far if you're trying to get the ice shriek bat. Okay, now I know we were standing on that door, Samus, so why don't you cut out the drama and just fall down? Alright, great. Up. Little off. Ooh, that was a hit. Ooh. Our timing is not great on those last couple of ones. Okay, so let's put on the thermal gogs, and if we notice something, this is something that we did not have before. This pillar here is made out of cordite, which means there's a missile expansion in there if you shoot it with the super missile. And so you can see, here's another thing that we can shoot with this super missile. That's gonna get him sorted out here. And anybody else? Yes. And the ragdoll physics on these guys, truly entertaining. It's really great. Could we get some missile drops though, if possible, because we're probably going to be running out soon. So one interesting thing about the way these pirates work is the way they're programmed, they won't engage you until you get into their field of vision. And so taking advantage of that makes it super easy to cheese these guys by doing stuff like that. It's a little unsporting, but what are you going to do? These guys, after all, are unsporting enough to tag team Samus. 2-on-1 fight and all. So I kind of feel justified taking a couple advantages where I can get them to. And now, oh yeah, this room. Yeah, here's what we're gonna do about this room. Yeah, there was a lot of enemies in there, so I kind of opted out of having to interact with all of them. That was not going to be a fun fight to have to do. So now we're back in this area. We're going to do a nice trip over to the old save station in order to lock down the progress that we've made. Alright, so let's see what we got going on here. Time to see what's behind door number 3. And before we do that, we're going to get some missiles. Missiles are actually very important for what's about to be going on here, as we will see. So the first thing that we notice is that this thing here is made out of cordite. Cordite obviously is game slang for shoot with super missiles, so let's see what we do. And with the help of our thermal goggles that we just got, we can see that this thing is a power conduit. We're just going to light that up. The light indicates that there's power to the door, and we can go. So just going to get a couple more missile drops here. Just peacefully go right past these bombuses. They're not trying to harass or interact with me in any way. Alright, they got a pot shot on me. Unfortunate, I guess. So let's see what we can find out. And you might have noticed that I put the thermal goggles on. That is going to be important for the beginning of this fight. So let's see what we got going on. Looks like we maybe are a little bit early. All I see is a big pile of rocks there. And oh boy, it's an earthbender. Alright, we're getting ambushed by some earthbenders. And it's pretty intimidating. And it looks like it's just a big moving statue. So not that bad. We've definitely dealt with worse here in our experience bounty hunting here. Pretty intimidating, I guess, but you know, we definitely can take it. So yeah, the thermal goggles is how you can see where his weak spot is. And we're just going to shoot and shoot and shoot at his weak spot. And eventually it overloads your thermal goggles and you have to switch back to normal goggles. And that's what this fight is basically going to be about. He has 7 weak spots that you have to destroy. If you get too feisty, he'll do a swat at you, like what he just did. But otherwise, there's 3 normal attacks that he can use. Oh, now come on! I did what I was supposed to do, and I got punished for it. All right, so now that he's rolling around, we're gonna be able to get a scan on him. And name is Thardus. You know, pretty much some boilerplate stuff after that. And yeah, we're just going to go ahead and continue with our pattern. We're going to shoot, and we're going to dodge. And that's his Earthbend attack. I have names for all of them. That's his Earthbend, where you just strafe out of the way. And then he has his Ice Beam attack, which is that one, where you jump out of the way. And then his Rolling Ball attack, where you roll out of it. And that's Thardus' attacks. So the real big stuff that's going on in the Thardus fight is not taking unnecessary risks like that one there. Understanding what all his attack animations look like so that you can do the appropriate response. And like getting your spacing down. Because like the Earthbend attack is a great opportunity to shoot at him, but only if you're in the right space. Like you have to be close enough to him. On the other hand, if you're too close, then it's tough to dodge his like Ice Beam and his roll around attack. This is another thing. He almost always does the roll around attack. Dang it. He almost always does the roll around attack after you expose a new weak spot. So you can just like go straight into the ball form and hide around. Another thing that makes this fight a little bit difficult is you have to be able to see where his weak spot is and what attack animations he's doing when you're in the thermal goggles. And that's not a trivial thing to do, because a lot of them look pretty similar. And especially when the thermal goggles are out, I find it's difficult to intuitively understand whether he's going to be vulnerable or whether he's going to have another part of his rock suit that isn't his weak spot covering up his weak spot when you let your shot go. So that's something you have to be aware of. That's just an experience thing. After you fight him a few times, you start to get used to those patterns. And you start to get used to like how close you can be safe. So, okay, after you take out his 3rd weak spot, he's going to do this cutscene that he's doing right now where he summons a snowstorm. I like to spend that time getting into the middle of the arena and scanning. That's a great time to scan because you're not distracted at all. And I was a little daring there and it paid off. I took a pot shot at him while he was in the moving into the ball animation, the startup animation for that. So that was nice. Kind of an unnecessary risk, but again, like this fight is all about patience. Literally, you just have to be patient, and eventually you'll get him. Oh, bad. That was an unnecessary risk there. So yeah, you see how you gotta hold your shot to wait for his vulnerable spot to come out from underneath the rest of his leg when he does his earthbend attack. Okay, so that's great. We're gonna scamper off now. Now that is just plain unsporting-like, Thardus. We definitely had that. So for this next one, we're gonna go ahead and switch to the super missiles. Super missiles are pretty sweet. But the problem is, like, all that stuff I said before about, like, waiting for your shot and needing to line stuff up, they're super important with the super missiles. Super missiles, you can get any, you can finish any form of the fight in just two. Now, there's no way a real Thardus could be that maneuverable. But super missiles, you can finish any phase of the fight in just 2 hits. But, again, it's kind of a risk because you have to jump over and, you know, each attempt takes you 5 missiles. So this is another one. This one and the previous ones are kind of tough because his weak spot is on his back, right? And that means that it's really easy for other parts of Thardus' body to block your shot. So when he does his Ice Beam attack is a great time to hit him because he like has to kind of jump forward to do that attack or lean forward to do that attack. And so you saw that happen there. Alright, so last form, and his last form does another cutscene in which he summons like another even bigger snowstorm. But thankfully this is the easiest of his weak spots to hit. It's located literally right in the middle of his chest. So hardly any of his attacks block it. Unfortunately, he also tends to be a little bit more aggressive with his invincible roll attack. This is the only form, I believe, where he can use it twice in a row. But I guess he can also use his Ice Beam attack several times in a row, which we take. Get out of the way for that attack there, Samus. Thardus is running very low on HP right now. He's super on the rocks. Again, we're going to have to be a little careful about this. So, I have one more power missile left, which will take half of that HP away. And I'm just going to start, like, actually just shooting at him. I guess hypothetically, when you shoot these rocks, they can drop like power-ups for you, but I don't think that moves the needle enough for you to want to do that. Okay, really? Okay, alright. So that's Thardus. That's the Thardus fight. We are very low on HP, but fortunately for us, one of the side effects of the Thardus fight is that all of that blue phazon energy nonsense that he has packed away is, you know, oh, this fight shot. So yeah, you can see that Thardus had a lot of missiles and health power-ups there. We're just going to go ahead and double check that we got the Thardus. This is where I start to get a little bit more paranoid. Again, this is one of those things where you only have one opportunity to get this scan. So we're gonna quintuple check that we got it, even though I know that I did. He's close to the bottom here, the Thardus is. And so yeah, there he was. So we defo got the Thardus scan. And you see some new art for it. So okay, get all these 100-pack power-ups. Nice, nice. And we also get, this is so cool. This is okay, I know I say this for like every power-up, that it's like a meme by now. But the spider ball is just so cool. I love the spider ball so much. So what does the spider ball do? Well, first of all, it lets us get a scan on these. These are a new research entry, which is a magnetic rail track, a spider ball track. So you could read that, but I'll just show you what they do. It's so cool. So the spider ball lets you actually move up on tracks like these, and isn't that so cool? And like you can lay bombs and do stuff like that on those tracks. It's so fun, and it's so like it's such a unique idea, right? For a power up. And you just roll along on your merry little spider track. And I understand that in the later games you can actually use the boost ball. You can boost on these. Can't do that in this game, unfortunately. And yep, this is the Thardus site. Now over here you might see, and especially it's obvious if you use the map, there's another spot there, that the part where it sticks out. That part is unfortunately beyond our grasp at the moment. We would need the an item called the grappling beam in order to get that. There's a missile expo in there. But fortunately, I guess we could use a scan jump to get to it, but I'm going to pretend that I don't know that you can do that. So, Magmore Caverns, we're going back to the Magmore Caverns now. And our next destination is actually going to be in Chozo Ruins. So, you remember how I said earlier that the Magmore Caverns is kind of like a transport place, a transport tunnel. So, we'll see that a little bit here. But before we do, we're for sure going to go ahead and turn around here and use this convenient save station to lock that progress down. We got the Thardus fight, we got the spider ball, and now it's time to lock it down.